We know that when your state standards change for your particular state, we need to update our content in Study Island. It's important that your students are working on the standards that they're going to be assessed on when they take your state test, and that we're matching to your state test blueprint. So we think that these updates are very important, and look forward to introducing some new updates this fall to address those state standards and state test changes. I'm happy to introduce Joseph Duran from our curriculum team, who's going to walk you through what's coming.
Hello everyone, my name is Joseph Durand and I'm a curriculum manager here at Edmentum. Today I'm going to walk you through some of our summer and fall content updates. All Study Island updates start with a careful review of state standards and supporting documents. Our curriculum team is careful to make sure that the items that we create represent the true intent of those state standards. Furthermore, we partner with educators from each of the states that we touch to make sure that the content that we are creating is meeting the needs of the teachers and students in that particular state. This summer, we will be releasing content for Arizona Science, New York Science, Ohio Social Studies, Tennessee Social Studies, Texas Social Studies, grades 6 through 8, and U.S. History in the high school, Texas ELA for K through 8, Kentucky ELA, and Kentucky Math. Let's go into a little more detail on each of these releases. In Arizona Science, the state is now asking students not to just know science, but to actually use science. So we've taken this approach and integrated this into our new items by emphasizing understanding and applying of scientific concepts. Additionally, the Arizona package now includes 3 high school courses: physical science, biology, and earth and space science. We've also included diagnostic pretest in all grade levels. Our New York updates for science focus on 3-dimensional learning, which includes disciplinary core ideas, science and engineering practices, and cross-cutting concepts. The content is also designed to emphasize understanding and applying of scientific concepts, not just memorizing information. This release includes all grade levels 3 through 8 and high school, which includes living environment and earth science. We've also placed an emphasis on engineering design skills. Those skills are not only embedded in other content areas where appropriate, but they have a separate section so that teachers can use it strategically when necessary. The new Ohio Social Studies product for Study Island addresses the breadth and depth of the new standards. Included in this release are assessment items modeled after state release tests. In addition to complex multiple choice items, students will encounter items with multiple parts, multiple response items, matching items, and graphic organizers. There is a strong emphasis on using and interpreting primary and secondary sources in assessment items. The product uses multiple types of assessments throughout grades 3 through 8, as well as in U.S. History for high school. The new Tennessee Study Island Social Studies product covers the extensive content found in the new state standard for grades 3 through 8 and U.S. History in high school. This includes content specific to the history of the state of Tennessee. The new product covers a wider breadth and depth of material commensurate with the new detailed standards. The new items emphasize interpreting a wide variety of documents and sources, including, but not limited to, maps, journals, graphs, speeches, historical accounts, paintings, and propaganda. The new product was written with extensive feedback from educators in Tennessee to ensure that the items and content are grade appropriate. The new social studies content for Texas covers grades 6 through 8, as well as U.S. history in high school. Lessons and assessment items focus on the nuances of the state standard, including an in-depth look at the history of the state of Texas for the 7th grade. We pay special attention to the taxonomic terminology of the standards, with items and lessons focusing on analysis of historical, geographical, economic, social, and cultural issues. The new product includes an emphasis on interpreting primary and secondary source material, with a heavy reliance on historical documents. In Texas ELA, we are making sure our content aligns with the TEKS for ELA and reading, which were adopted in 2017. Across the elementary and middle school grade levels, our practice product provides content for the 7 Texas ELA strands: developing and sustaining foundational language skills, comprehension, response, multiple genres, author's purpose and craft, composition, and inquiry and research. New emphasis in our content include responding to literary and informational text, analyzing author's purpose and craft, and practicing the steps of the research and composition process. New composition content covers argumentative, informational, and narrative writing as distinct types. Our new content for Kentucky grades 2 through 8 and grade 10 addresses the state's big changes from the Common Core to state-specific standards in ELA. The biggest change in how we approached the standards is in composition. Instead of treating writing under an umbrella of skills, the new product has distinct coverage that helps students prepare to write argumentative, informational, and narrative texts. This corresponds with Kentucky's new composition standards. In Kentucky Math, there are many nuanced changes to these standards. For example, there were changes in the specificity for geometry and measurement questions, which required us to add more questions for particular shapes and processes, such as finding the area of composite shapes for grade 7 or calculating surface area of solids in grade 8. Additionally, there is now a longer stretch of statistical reasoning reaching further back into the elementary grades. The idea of a statistical question normally begins with grade 6, but the new Kentucky Math standards begin a scaffolding process in grade 3 that help lead up to it. With these changes, we're incorporating a stronger vertical alignment between the grades as the topics progress. We've also added some content to Algebra 2 to allow for more granular topics, such as choosing appropriate units, complex solutions to polynomial equations, and matrix applications and operations. As you can see, we have a robust release happening this summer. All state standards go through the same process, but the final package ends up unique to each state. Our work doesn't end here, as we are already planning ahead to the fall and the winter. This winter, we will be releasing New York Math and ELA, Ohio Science, Texas ELA for high school, Texas Social Studies grades 3 through 5, as well as Virginia Science. We will also release Kentucky Social Studies and Michigan Social Studies for the 2019 to the 2020 school year. I hope you found this content to be helpful and that you are looking forward to our upcoming releases.